many choices in internet radio, and the staff and host of LA Talk Live would like to thank you for choosing the internet's hottest destination for the most eclectic sound and invigorating talk. This is LA Talk Live. We are more than just talk.
I never had no complaints.
Hey.
Concerning where
I know y'all hear that right there. That's it. You like that?
Sounds dope.
Sounds pretty dope. Well, first of all, let me let everybody know what's going on. Let me let everybody know what's going on. You are tuned in to the first show for Mixologist LA Live, and we have a special guest in the building who's freaking awesome. I'm so glad he was here for my first show. You guys give it up for the one and only comedian, writer, and just all around man, Mr. Alex Thomas in the building, y'all.
Thank you for having me, and happy holiday.
Thank you. So what's been up with Alex? What's Alex got going on?
Are you serious? How much time do we have? Because that's
got
not
enough.
Yeah, that's not a quick answer. First things first, a brand new double two-time daddy now. Yes, thank you. I have a son that is now almost 2 weeks old. I have a
awesome.
2-year-old daughter. So I'm just, outside of being the actor, entertainer, CEO, I am daddy, and husband. So,
wow.
It's a great
lot
thing.
of people don't know that, some celebrities, they don't know that people are married. Like,
Yeah.
I found out about 2 years ago that Morris Chestnut was married. And of course, we as women, we always, think we can get them until we
Of
find out
course.
they're married. But I found it was devastating to me, even though, it's not like I care, but you kind of do
right.
as a woman, just simply because he's just attractive. So what does that feel like when people find out that you're
Well,
married?
what it is, I have a different situation than Morris Chestnut.
Okay.
You get guys that are Morris Chestnuts and the Shamar Moores and the guys that are so-called sex symbols.
Okay.
They got to draw it out because that's their business. That's how they make their money. They're the cute, sexy, pretty boy, whatever. I don't have to worry about that at all. I'm a comedian. I'm short. I'm not pretty. I'm not cute. No, but my wife loves me.
That's beautiful.
My daughter loves me. My fans that I've been slinging these jokes to for 25 years love me. So I don't have to worry about that. I was like the happiest, proudest guy in the world when I got married. I'm like,
That's
hey,
awesome.
I like the world to know. Because, and nothing against anybody. I'm not naming any names when I say this kind of stuff. But if you have a hidden agenda, then, yeah, you want to keep that low key because you're still out there doing your thing.
Right.
I'm not mad at any brothers that are out there doing their thing.
Right.
I just personally, I'm done.
Right.
It's a
I
wrap.
feel you.
I was a dirty whore for a lot of years as an actor and a guy that's done a lot of TV shows and movies, and it was some good times.
Right.
Worldwide. And I'm not even a superstar. You know what I mean?
Different area code.
Absolutely. But when I found the right woman,
Mhm.
I was like, dude, she's everything. And we have so much fun together, and she's my best friend. And then boom, next thing you know, we got married. The next thing you know, we had kids. It's like, I'm good in that department.
Right.
Now it's all about business and making this money and, see what I can do with this legacy.
That's what's up. I like that. So just so you guys know, we got a lot of stuff lined up. We got a lot of things we're going to be talking about. I have a laundry list of things that we're going to be talking about today. We're going to talk about some music. We're going to talk about the hottest music. We're going to talk about what's popping in the industry, what's going on, and our opinions about those things.
Well, that's why I'm here, because I'm not shy.
Okay.
And I kind of can talk about anything.
Okay.
Pretty much, not too much. You might have something to say, and I don't have nothing to say. You know what I mean?
Right.
So let's do it.
So then we're gonna go into we're gonna make some cocktails. We're gonna make some.
I'm always good with cocktails.
Good stuff.
I like to sip on a little something.
Yeah. So let's take a few minutes. We're gonna go to commercial. We're gonna let the people listen to some Duran Bernard. You guys know him from singing background for Erykah Badu. The dude is absolutely amazing. So give a listen. We'll be back in just a few minutes.
Yeah,
Hey.
I'm not even a rapper. This make me feel like I just want to spit something.
Yeah,
Man,
now that
is there
track.
no cuss in here? Or can you cuss?
Well, we'll
I'm
see.
just curious because I just want to know. Because if there was cussing, I was about to cuss.
You about
If
to-
not, hey,
you
I
about
can be
to
funny
Steve
without
Harvey?
cussing.
You about to do a Steve
Oh
Harvey?
yeah, we
on
got
me?
babies in here, so yeah,
Okay,
none of
well,
that. Yeah.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Okay.
That's awesome. So let's get into my segment's called Good Vibes, y'all. We're gonna talk about some good vibes, and of course, that was a good vibe I just shared with you guys.
Oh, absolutely.
We're gonna get into some more music by Duran Bernard later, but I wanted to kind of touch on. Were you able to make it to the Stevie Wonder House Full of Toys concert this year?
I did not. I went like, I'm not even lie to you. I probably went 10, 15 years in a row.
Wow,
I'm dead serious. Like some amazing. I've seen some of the most amazing artists, icons, just being around Stevie Wonder for a lot of years.
He puts on a show. Like there is no without a shadow of a doubt.
Amazing. Like that dude would get on that piano or start singing. I mean, in hits, you don't realize how many songs and how many hits he has till he really gets on
You'd be
stage and just goes.
that is a Stevie Wonder joint.
Absolutely.
Yeah, he does that. So this year he had Andra Day, whom he discovered. She did one of her amazing songs featuring Common. You know,
Wow.
I'm a Common fan.
I'm a Common fan too.
Oh my God.
Shot Town.
Okay. I mean, well, I'm a fan because he's amazing, and I'm also a fan because he's Common.
Oh yeah. Yeah, he's like one of the original conscious rappers.
Yes, he's amazing. So this concert
Can I
was
borrow
just...
a dollar? Don't make me get
Right.
watermelon.
Right.
I mean, I know, like, I'm a real hip hop head. Like, I can tell you songs off his first album. I believe it was what, 95, 96, something like that. So don't get me started. If you want to start talking about hip hop, then we really gonna need a few hours.
We could definitely get into it. We could definitely get into it. So definitely, he had Andra Day, he had Common, he had these two other artists. One guy named Glenn. He got on and played the piano and just like, what? Like, you got to touch Stevie's piano and sing on his piano. That was amazing.
Some super talented people out there that just unfortunately where music is right now,
right,
where these record labels are right now, where it's not a matter of like coming up in the 80s or early 90s where we have this next artist, he plays 6 instruments, he writes, he can play the banjo, he can do the harmonica, the ukulele, and auto tune. You know what I mean? Nowadays a label's like, great, does he shot anybody?
Right.
Yeah, does he sell weed? Does he do Molly or Percocet? Like, it's almost like they don't want to hear how talented you are. They want to know, is it on the lines of what's hot out there right now? Which is unfortunate because you get a lot of talented people that just get kind of lost in the shuffle because it's not what they're listening to right now.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
This is very true. Stevie is just. I'm just gonna share this.
He's
with
a musical
you guys
genius.
Because I don't like to boast and be like, hey, this is what I did, but that man changed my life. Like I had the privilege and the honor to accompany him to New Orleans this past year to the jazz festival. He asked me to sing backup for him, and I was like, "What? What do you mean?"
How do you know?
Well,
about you in singing?
I'm affiliated with some of his other businesses.
Oh, okay.
And so he just so happened to walk in the door one day, and he walked past the door, and I said, "I'm sorry. Wait a minute. Was that Stevie? Was that?" And the guy said, yeah, that was Stevie Wonder. So he said, I'll introduce you to him when he's done with the interview and all that. So he comes back out, and the guy says, this is Stevie, this is Millan. She's one of the girls who does your jingles, and she writes and she sings, and she's this. And he puts his hand out, and I reach for his hand, and he like pulls me in, and I'm like, okay, I can't breathe now. So we got to talking. We chopped it up for a minute. We sat down for like an hour, and we listened to music, and he sang, and I sang back, and he kind of got closer and closer and closer. I guess he was listening.
Right.
And then he called me. We went to dinner. He took me to dinner. I was like, wow, like who goes to dinner with Stevie Wonder?
Right,
so I go to dinner. We enjoy dinner. And then he calls me after he drops us off. Well, we got dropped off. And he calls me when he gets home, and he's like, hey, how would you feel about coming to New Orleans and singing with me at the jazz festival? I was like, what do you, in my mind, I'm like, what? I was about to change every plan I had just to be there. I was like, absolutely. But, in my mind, I'm like, oh my God. But, I was like, yeah, sure, of course. Trying to be cool. And, and lo and behold, I met that man on a Wednesday, and I was in New Orleans by Friday.
You were in the right place at the right time.
He changed my life. Like,
absolutely.
That experience was like nothing I've ever experienced
That's
before.
how it happens in this business. That's this business. Right place at the right time.
Right. So what is Alex Thomas? What does Alex Thomas listen to? What's his favorite joint?
Wait, I just gotta offer something you just said before I forget.
Yeah.
I'm like the epitome of the right place at the right time,
Right.
like what you said.
Yeah,
So a lot of people don't know. A lot of people do know. You know, I was a writer on the TV show The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
absolutely.
I wrote on that show for 4 years, 93 to 97. The question I always get is, how did you become a writer?
Right.
Did you go to writing school? Did you take writing classes? Like,
Mhm.
how did this happen? And I'm like, man, right place
Right time.
at the right time.
Right.
I had only been doing comedy not even 6 months. I was a broke amateur comic. I had $11 in my pocket. Caught the bus to the world famous Laugh Factory up in Hollywood. It was the same day that I sat in a 14-hour line, amateur night,
Are you serious?
just so I can go up that night to do 3 minutes. So I went up and did my little 3
Wow.
minutes, and I was the last out of all the amateurs. And Will Smith was sitting in the front row of the comedy club.
Nice.
Right when I got off stage, he's like, "Yo, man, you're real funny, man. My name is," I was like, "I know who you are.
Right.
You Will Smith."
Right.
I was like, "My name is Alex Thomas." He's like, "Yeah, man." He goes, "Let me ask you something, man. Do you write?" And I was like, "Yeah, you got a pen?"
Right.
He was like, well, do you think you could come down and help us with some funny stuff like what I saw on stage tonight?" And I was like, "Hold on, let me check my schedule. Yes, I'm available." He
Okay.
goes, "When do you think you could come down?" I'm like, "Now.
Okay.
Can I get a ride with you?"
Exactly.
And the rest was history. I was there the next day. I was there for 4 years. I ended up being one of best friends with this guy, and ended up writing on Independence Day, Men in Black. So
Wow.
that opened up all the doors for me at the beginning of my career.
That's amazing. And see,
So-
a lot of the first time I met you, I was sitting in the editing room with Marcus Red. Do you remember that?
I know
We were
Marcus Red, but
yeah,
I'm
we
like,
went
when was
over. I
this?
was over there, and I was assisting him for a few years. I assisted him, and I did some photo shoots with him. And he asked me to come over one time to do a session. And we're sitting there. When I walked in, you were
Huh.
right there. And in my mind, I felt the same way that you felt when you saw Will Smith. I'm like, "Ah, that's Alex Thomas sitting
Really?
right there." So
How long ago was this?
this was a while. I mean, he's still over there in
No, I saw him. I
Inglewood,
just
but-
ran into him
Yeah.
2 weeks ago.
But that's when I
shooting a
met you
sketch.
the first time.
So
And
it
I
had to
was-
be 7-8 years ago.
yeah,
maybe
probably.
10.
I didn't have. I had 3 kids then, but they were really little.
That's
So it had to be
crazy. I
about
didn't know that.
9 or so years ago.
Yeah.
But the first time I met you, that's how I felt. You know, it was
That's
like,
crazy.
dang, this is out. Like I'm standing next to this dude. Like I watched all your movies. Like everything
oh, wow.
was,
Thank
you know, and I didn't know that you know that you wrote on the Fresh Prince until the
right.
night that we came to the show, and I was like,
Right.
what?
Yeah.
So I was just
I have a whole joke I do about how black folks don't read credits.
No, they don't.
It is so funny how black people
Hashtag read the credits.
read the credits. You know what's so funny? Like, for example, white people know me for different things that black people know me for.
This is true.
Right? So, say for instance, are you from LA?
I am from LA.
Okay, so like, say for instance, you're in the Fox Hills Mall.
Okay.
Because all of us, we call it the Fox Hills Mall. I don't care if it's the Westfield
did.
Center or whatever. It will forever be the Fox Hills Mall to
We
us
did,
LA
we
people, right?
did.
So I could be in the Fox Hills Mall standing next to a dude that's known me 25 years, right?
Right.
And a white person will walk up and be like, "Excuse me, 1 second. Alex Thomas, can I just tell you I love you and you're so funny. My husband and I, we love the Family Guy. Our favorite cartoon. Keep doing what you're doing and walk away." And you know what the first thing?
Wait.
Exactly. You about to be that black person. You're gonna be like, "You on the
Wow.
Family Guy?"
Right.
Wait, I didn't know you was on the Family. And what did I just tell you a second ago? That's because black folks don't read credits.
I need to
I've been on Family
read.
Guy 10 years. One of
Oh
the
my
biggest
God.
cartoons of all time.
So you're writing?
No,
or you're-
I'm characters on that.
Which one?
A lot of different characters.
Are you serious?
Oh yeah, like the white people love me as the black dolphins. I'm angry black people. I'm kids, animals. So they've done like 300 episodes over the years. I've done like maybe 60 or 70. I'm not on it every week. I'm what's called recurring, meaning when
Right.
Seth MacFarlane needs a funny character,
Right.
So, but it's just I didn't mean to get all off the subject, but
No,
that's just
amazing.
funny how the brother that knows me from the black things.
Well, see,
Jamie
I know you.
Foxx Show,
I know
Players
you from,
Club, Two Could Play That Game, The Wash.
Yeah, the
no
one that was about to
clue.
fight Luke.
Oh.
The dude who.
Oh, that was in Players Club.
that was
Rest
in
in
Players
peace,
Club.
Michael Clark Duncan.
Right. Oh my goodness.
So black folks know those things, but like the white people, totally opposite.
Yeah,
But I just say that to say black folks don't read credits. But yeah, so Family Guy, yeah.
that's amazing.
Thank you.
I like.
You didn't
the
know it
Family
either, did
Guy.
you?
I didn't.
It's okay.
Just like
I
it's
don't
a
get mad
lot.
at folks.
I mean, I learn something new about people every day.
Yeah.
And I make sure that I engage with the new people that I meet because you never
Mhm.
know what they've done.
Well, you know what it is? It's funny too. In Hollywood, I'm like the epitome of there's a whole lot of ways to get paid.
Right.
in Hollywood.
There is.
You know, I'm not one of those, nothing against them, but I'm not one of those one-trick pony comics that just tells jokes and that's it.
Right.
No, I write, I act, I do stand-up, I do cartoons. You know what I mean? I have accessory. It's a bunch of things.
But in LA, you have to because
absolutely, I think outside the box
because it's so expensive to live here.
Oh, absolutely.
You know, you have to have all kinds of stuff. Like women now, it's like PayPal me.
Yeah.
I got to pay me for my condo.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's
Now
it's
I got
really
2 kids, so
serious.
I'm selling pit bull puppies.
Okay.
I got a weed shop over there on 3rd. Detail cars.
I know that's right.
A masseuse. No, just playing.
Well, yeah, well. You know what? That's a touchy subject for me. I've had this conversation with the love of my life, and we talked about him going to massage therapy school. And I was like,
oh, all of a sudden he wants to do it?
No, not even all of a sudden. He said it, numerous times over time. And I was like, okay, I tried to be the supportive. Yeah, sure,
Practice
And
on
then
me.
in the back of my mind, I'm like, no, because you fine and you tall and
that's
you
funny.
look all good, and you women gonna be
That's-
like, I think you need to work this out. Look,
Yeah.
don't get worked out, okay?
Exactly.
Because
My inner thighs are bothering me. They're so sore.
yeah,
Is there anything you could do for that?
right next to the left lip. Yeah, I can't get with the whole idea that
That's
he might
funny.
be, rubbing on some woman. And I mean,
To
he
be
could,
like your husband said, I'm thinking about getting into porn. I heard it pays good. Could you separate the difference between business and pleasure?
can we do Jay-Z and Beyonce? Because I'm the only person you're gonna be doing porn with. If you taking one for the team, I'm taking one for the team. Okay?
Right. We about to put out a series.
Yeah, so I wasn't supportive, I guess you can
Right.
say, in the sense of him doing
Yeah,
that.
right.
Because I was like, I don't want you. I mean, he could.
It's a very hands-on job.
He could rub his finger across my back, and I'd be like, oh my God.
Right,
So
right,
I'm like, you're
right,
not
right.
finna get your hands on another
Right,
woman. So
You
I don't know.
know?
So I guess I'm just gonna continue to do my 100 jobs so that we can pay for everything, because I don't want
Exactly.
him rubbing on women for a living.
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
that's how that go.
Hey, I'm not mad at you. You're trying to keep a happy home.
Yeah. So let's talk about what music gets, like what songs do you and your wife like when it's like it's about to go down? What songs?
Oh, I'm glad you're specific, because I was about to say we just talk about music, because I got different music for different things. When I'm writing, I listen to music. When I want to turn up and it's time to party, I listen to certain music. Obviously, when it's romance and take them out, is that your particular question? Or?
I mean, yeah. What gets
because
what
we
gets
have
Alex
we got
Thomas
some
and his
particular
wife
songs that I can get
for
I can tell you.
specific things?
Oh yeah. So for
Okay.
instance, one reason I love my wife so much, we have a lot in common when it comes to music.
Okay, that's
And
good.
2 or 3 of our favorites, my favorites just happen to be her favorites,
That's good.
which worked out amazing. And that was people like Sade,
Hmm.
Luther Vandross.
Oh.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
Anita Baker,
Hmm.
Whitney Houston. Like, we are very classic soul driven. Don't get me wrong. Hey, when you're in the car driving down the street and today's R&B, Trey Songz,
Oh my
Chris
gosh.
Brown. Okay, that's cool and that's funny and that's silly and that's but that's not. I hate to say it, and they be mad at me right now. That's not the R&B I grew up on.
That's true.
You get
but
what I'm
know
saying? I'm not knocking it though.
you
It's
know,
just today's R&B.
This is true, but I can chime in on both sides of that, because as an artist myself, doing music, I like some of everything for different reasons. Yeah,
You
so
just
like
said exactly what I said.
right,
I
like
can,
it'll
I can
be a
understand it.
different, it's a different feeling. So
Yeah.
what gets me in the mood, like I love the old school. I love like everything you said, Sade. Like I'd be like, wait a minute
Come
now.
on.
But it's just something about Tank that I'd be like, why do you tap into
Right,
every part of that?
Right,
He
right,
taps
right.
into the
I
R&B.
get it.
He taps into the old school.
I
I
get
mean,
it.
he does the Teddy Pendergrass sometimes
Yeah.
when he get upset.
Now,
He
Tank,
growling.
Tank, and he's a good friend of mine. He is coming from that generation.
He is.
So he's
exactly.
tapped into that, but he's still relevant to today.
Exactly.
And that's how I feel as a stand-up comic. I'm one of those dudes that I was able to stand the test of time. I'm that guy that I'll go do a show in Alabama. I'll go do a show in Atlanta. I'll go do a show in Tacoma, Washington, and the mama and the kids show up. So the
Yeah,
mama, let's say
exactly.
she's 35. She grew up on me. And the new kid's like, yo, I've seen his Instagram. He's one of the funniest dudes out there.
Right.
And got to think, a 21 to 30-year-old guy, he grew up on my reruns. But there was the Jamie Foxx show or Two Can
Yeah.
Play That Game, the Wash, Players Cup. So I'm able to stay relevant So when I'm talking about old versus new, I'm not knocking the new
Yeah.
because I get it.
Yeah.
You know, I'll listen to Lil Uzi Vert and
Lil
I'll
Uzi
listen
Vert.
to
No.
OT Genesis or Rocka Flocka or Migos, but in the same breath on the same mixtape, I'm listening to LL Cool J, Rakim, Snoop
Yes.
Dogg's greatest hits, you know, all the way, you know, to DMX, Jay-Z, and you know what I mean? So I really have such a mix. Back to, like, I love D'Angelo. I love Maxwell.
Oh,
I love Jill
yes.
Scott.
See, now you
I love
tapping
Erykah
in.
Badu.
Now
I
you
love Music
tapping
Soul
in.
Child.
Yes.
I love that. But I can hear, I hear with these young, but it's when your maturity level has gone up, it's just really hard to, I can hear it, but I'm not, it's, right now I'm kind of mad I can't cuss because I can really get my point across of what I'm
Right.
really trying to say. Their subject matter now
Yeah.
is
It's kind of weird. Yeah.
not my subject matter.
No.
Melodies are melodies. I get that. Music's
Mhm.
music. But some of the, okay. let me
You
just-
tapped on that at the comedy club when we
I
talked
did.
about the song that you wrote like on the spot. I was like, that is
Exactly.
exactly how songs
See,
come
that's what I was
about.
going to do. I said, but like take somebody like Future,
Uh-huh.
right? What he's talking about, I hear it, but I don't get it.
Mm-hmm.
It's because I don't do Molly. I don't do Percocet.
Yeah.
I get 8 hours sleep a night. You know what I mean? I have a wife. I've done the crazy stuff in the past, but he's not talking. He's not talking to me.
Right.
He's
Right.
talking to that 21 to 25-year-old dude right now that's like, yeah, I'm on 6 drugs right now. I done had 8 chicks this week. I had 3 more this
Right.
morning. I'm about to go get me 3 more chicks tonight. He's talking to that dude.
Right.
And you got to be high to do a lot of that stuff.
Right. Well, I mean, there is different ways to get high.
Of course.
I personally, I don't get high in a sense of, high, but I really do. I believe in energy,
Mhm.
and when you're with somebody that just makes you feel like, I don't care who else is in the world right now because I'm with you, and you just feel like if we decided to get on a spaceship and go to the moon right now,
Right.
I'd be like, leave
Let's
all
go.
the kids,
Yeah,
like
yeah,
it's
yeah.
just me and you.
Yeah.
And I've had, the pleasure of having somebody in my life who just makes me feel like I don't care, like, we're it's sad to say. I mean, we all make mistakes as parents,
Of course.
but I've made some pretty ignorant mistakes, but not
Uh-huh.
ignorant to me at the time,
Right.
because
You got to
you
live
be
and
trying
learn.
to you be trying to think like, okay, the kids get out at 3:00 and I'm supposed to leave at 2:30, but if I take the back route, I could stay home and get this little bit of real quick before I
That's
go.
funny, right.
And I've done that a few times, and mom be like, "It's 3:05. Well, you late?" I'm like, "Come on, baby, get in the car." And I just be in my mind like, "Oh Lord,
Right,
child, I'm a bad
right,
mother because
right,
I stayed
right.
home to
Yeah.
be with my boo." But
Yeah.
that's my high.
Right,
Like
right.
he is my like.
Yeah.
I'm an aggressive.
Still googly
I'm an
eyed.
aggressive worker.
Yeah.
But when he's around, I feel like a puppy looking around the corner, like,
Right.
Hey, babe.
But that's good. That's love.
Oh, thank you.
You know what I mean? And that's a beautiful thing. That's a beautiful thing. Ain't nothing like it. You know?
Right. Well, you know what? We're gonna listen to some more music, and we're going to take a quick little break so Millan can go to the potty,
Okay.
and we're gonna come back in a few minutes.
Let's do it.
All right. Hey, you guys, if you definitely want to get refreshed and get sexy out here in these streets, you want to make sure your skin is looking as good as mine does on this camera. So go out to your local markets, your Trader Joe's, your Rouse, your Vons stores, and pick up some Aloe Glow out here in these streets because you see the glow on me, so you got to get your glow. Go to the stores right now and pick up our sponsors, Aloe Glow, in stores now.
Thank you for tuning into LA Talk Live and the Talk Live Broadcast Network. Original reality radio, handcrafted for your listening and viewing pleasure. This is LA Talk Live, and we are more than just talk. Stay tuned.
I never had no complaints concerning where I stay. In between you and me, I'm the type of freak that's neat. So I can breathe, even take you with me. Call me Mr. Clean, and I'll reveal to you what it means. But let me check upstairs before you go up there. Let me check upstairs to make sure my room is square. I'm nobody's Rosie, but I sure can use my vacuum. Never tried to be Florence, but I'll dust all over you. So you can breathe. Even escort the way out if you want to leave. Call me Mr. Clean, and I'll reveal to you what it means. But let me check upstairs before you go up there. Let me check upstairs to make sure my room is square. But let me check upstairs. Let me check upstairs before you go up there. Make sure that I clean my house from upstairs into the lawn. Guarantee I won't miss a spot. I'm gonna take the garbage out. Make sure that I clean my house from upstairs into the lawn. Guarantee I won't miss a spot. I'm gonna take the garbage out. Make sure that I clean my house from upstairs into the lawn. Guarantee I won't miss a spot. I'm gonna take the garbage out. Make sure that I clean my house from upstairs into the lawn. Guarantee I won't miss a spot.
All right, y'all. We are back. Mixologist LA live. Oh my God, did you like that?
Oh my
Was
God,
that
dude's
was
got
that
an
sexy or
amazing
what?
voice.
He's amazing.
Yeah, I can't wait to
Shout
hear
out
more.
to so he'll be in studio with us in the next couple of Saturdays.
Okay.
We spoke briefly today. The dude is amazing. Like
Okay. Where's he from?
He's I think he's from, I want to say Chicago or Cleveland or
okay.
something like that. I
Okay.
could be wrong, but we
Okay.
can clarify that when when he comes on the show.
Okay.
I mean, dude is like, why can you sing
Right,
like
right,
that?
right.
Okay, so share with us why music has such impact on you as a person. Like, what does music do for you?
Well, music's been a huge part of my life from the day I was born. Probably something else you didn't know about me. My dad was in one of the biggest bands of all time. So I grew up in the music business. My dad was with Earth, Wind, and Fire for 20 years. Yeah,
One of
he
my favorite
actually
bands.
came up with the name, him, Maurice, and Verdine. They used to be called the Phoenix Horns.
Wow.
And then they became Earth, Wind, and Fire. Let me tell you something crazy. About a week and a half ago, I'm in Barney's in Beverly Hills having lunch with my wife, and we get on the elevator, and Verdine is in the elevator. I am 49 years old, and this dude still calls me Baby Alex, as if I was a child. I have pictures of me in parks when they were like a hippie band. My dad was the wind of Earth, Wind, and Fire, so he played the trombone. and he still
Wow.
remembers me. I have pictures of me in the studio when I was a kid with Sly and Family Stone and
Oh,
Stevie Wonder, James Brown, all the people. Minnie Riperton. My dad produced her last album before he died. Before she died,
and
and
her daughter's an actress and a
yeah, yeah, yeah,
comedian.
yeah. So we've all
What?
known each other since little kids. What's crazy, Jamie Foxx teases me all the time. He's like, dude, you grew up in a house with two pianos, every horn you can think of, and you can't play ish. You can't play nothing. And I'm like, dude, and I look back and I'm so mad that I didn't because they kind of forced it on me. I had to learn. I grew up literally with two pianos in the house. My mom was a classical pianist that played, every
Wow.
church in LA, but my dad was in the music business. So yeah, so I say all that to say you can imagine what my musical background is.
Wow.
It's a huge part of my life.
But you created a new legacy in addition to everybody that's in your family that has
Mm.
had the honor to be around and to
Yeah,
create in this. You've created a new field of entertainment and added to the legacy
there you have it.
uh,
I grew
of
up in music and ended up
entertainment.
telling jokes for a living. I don't know how it happened, but it happened. You know what I mean? So, music, just to go back to what you said, it's a big part. I mean, I still to this day, I'll sit back and I'll write for hours and I'll just listen to music. Like, my playlist is crazy. When I'm writing, it's almost like I almost don't want to hear anything new.
We got to tap into that.
I don't want to hear anything new.
We
I'll,
gonna
I'll
we gonna
play
get into
everything
that.
from Roberta Flack's greatest hits to Marvin Gaye's greatest hits to Shaka Khan's greatest hits
So you
to
know I
Run
was married.
DMC's greatest hits.
You know I
Like,
was married to Marvin Gaye in another life, right?
I believe it.
Honey,
He was another
if
one
he
of the
was
greats.
alive right now, I'd be like, oh,
Yeah.
you know what?
Curtis Mayfield, I can keep going. Like, a lot of times, believe it or not, I'm still from a jazz generation. I like
Right.
listening to jazz when I'm either on an airplane or I just want to zone out. A lot of times when I'm writing, I don't want to hear anything with words because
Nice.
if I'm listening to words and I'm trying to think of a script or I'm trying to think of a line or I'm trying to think of what am I going to say on this next joke, I don't want to hear the words. I just love hearing melodies. That's why when you played that instrumental,
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, oh my God, that just made me want to start saying something.
So
or
can
ju-
I ask that Alex Thomas come and sit in on a writing session for the mixtape? Can we get that action?
Hey,
going?
you know what I mean? Why not? When I
Just
feel
so
it,
you can,
it may come out funny, but
and it's all good. It's all in the creative process. It's all gonna be,
right.
So real quick, everybody, we just had another body walk into the room, and this man right here, I can't even really. It's hard for me to express how I feel about this person because he means everything to me. He has a really big part of my heart. He's a very amazing individual. This man has traveled the world, over 150 trips abroad, 25 countries, 5 continents. This man has 28 years of real estate investment insurance, mortgage broking, financial services, financial education. He's one of the most amazing and newest senior marketing directors with World Financial Group and Transamerica Financial. This man is the reason for them opening a new office in Houston, Texas. This man is just like, in addition to that, he is the uncle to my son and a mentor to my heart and spirit. You guys, please give a very warm welcome to this beautiful man, Mr. Theodore Cooper.
Theodore
Happy to
Cooper.
be here. I'm here. Right.
Nice to meet you,
Nice
brother.
to see you again, bro. Yeah.
So we're gonna add him to the conversation. We're gonna start off with I'm gonna ask just a few general little questions.
Sure.
What would you say is your biggest takeaway in everything that you've experienced, learned, trips that you've taken? What is one of the biggest things that you can tell people that is maybe a lesson learned that most people probably wouldn't know that would be in your position?
Probably in the world of travels is that aside from being a U.S. citizen, I do my very best to be a global citizen. I find that sometimes when you travel, some countries don't like Americans. And some of the reasons I found out was because when you come to America, Americans expect you to speak perfect English. And when Americans go to their country, Americans expect them to speak perfect English.
Right.
So if you try to speak the language of the locals, there's a greater reception of who you are as a person, and they just enjoy who you are. So I've learned to accept people for who they are and then try and do my best to adapt to their culture instead of having them always adapt to my culture.
I think that's really important. A lot of times with the youth organization that I was very blessed to have start last year at an elementary school, we teach the fundamentals of life, communication, and financial literacy to these kids. And a lot of kids, they seem to prejudge a lot of things about other kids. You know, maybe it's the skin tone, the texture of their hair, where they came from, what kind of shoes they have on. And I really took the time out for to make them understand that we are so much more than what we have on our bodies. We are so much more than the hair that we wear or have, whatever it is. And it was such a liberating experience for me to watch these kids go from being disrespectful and saying what they want to say and going, you know, from that to respecting or asking questions about why your family does what they do or why you say things the way that you say them.
So
and I think that's really super important.
Yeah.
I have something to say off of that, and something that you brought up too. Travel is so important.
It is.
Because it gives you, especially as an entertainer, as an artist, it gives me so much to talk about.
It does.
People ask me all the time, like, how do you come up with your material? Traveling the world.
Oh
When
my
I tell
God.
you I have jokes, we could be here for another hour
right.
just about my jokes about being
Right.
around this world. I'm talking from
Right.
Hong Kong to Scotland.
Right.
A brother from South Central. I always say, I've come a long
A
way.
long way.
And I feel good. You know, you always hear this as a parent, because I'm a new parent.
Right,
You know,
right.
daughter two,
Congratulations.
thank you. Son just 6 weeks old.
Wow.
I want to show my kids what my parents were not maybe able to show me. I'm not
Right.
knocking
No,
my
that's
parents or
extremely important.
I'm not knocking
Right.
them at all. But all I can say is even though my father was in the entertainment business,
Right.
I wasn't really traveling. I wasn't going the world with him.
Right.
He wasn't putting me on planes. He would just
Right,
bring
right.
back the money, right?
Right.
Right.
Of course.
So I say all that to say, I didn't get on an airplane until I was 20 years old.
Wow.
My daughter
Wow.
has a passport and she's 6 months old.
That's how it works out.
That's
I
amazing.
purposely was like, you know what? I want her to see what I never saw.
Right. I
She's
had
not
this-
even one, and she's been around the world
I
already.
had the same philosophy. My daughter, it's funny. For her 8th birthday, I said, "Well, what do you want to do for your 8th birthday?" She says, she's 26 now. She says,
Yeah.
"I want to go to Disneyland in Tokyo." Packed up the kids, took them to Disneyland in Tokyo.
Nice.
That's what I'm talking about.
As a father, I
That's
wanted
what
my
I'm
kids,
talking about.
specifically my daughter,
Yeah.
to be able to say to a man when he approaches her, "Okay, so first, do you have a passport? Number 2, how many stamps are in it?" I mean, she's married now, and the guy she married when they first met, he had a passport and no stamps, and she told him, "This is unacceptable, so let's go on a trip together."
That is fun. You know what I thought you were
Right.
gonna say? You know what I thought you were gonna
What's
say?
that?
I thought you were gonna say, so when my daughter meets a man, first thing she gonna say is, first of all, have you been to Disneyland in Tokyo?
Okay.
Because if you ain't seen Mickey in Tokyo, you need to get up
No.
out my face.
Okay.
Okay.
Pretty much, though. I just wanted to build that expectation.
I mean,
Absolutely,
Tokyo.
bro.
I'm pretty. I'm assuming just for stereotype that Disney,
Right.
you know, that Mickey in Tokyo is probably a lot shorter than
I
Mickey
know.
in United
No,
States.
Mickey's the same height. Shout out to
Same height.
Disneyland. I'm
Right.
gonna represent right now.
Okay, so we're gonna get into some topics that most of us really don't touch on,
Mhm.
you know, because we're so you know, all over the place and doing
Mhm.
our own thing. So I just recently heard that I don't know if you guys are familiar. You are, because we talked about her with the rapper Cardi B. Okay, she just purchased her fiance Offset a Rolls Royce for
Of Migos.
$300,000. Okay, now usually I don't really jump into these kinds of topics, but I felt it was important because we have a lot of, you know, people getting married and getting divorced and all this stuff. It's like, do you really, if it's your husband, I can kind of get it, but you bought your fiance who's 26, who ain't been around the block one time enough to know where to stop and get off and what's going on. You spent $300,000 on this man. What do y'all think about that?
I'll let him go first because I kind of have a lot to say about that. Okay.
Well, you know, I'm thinking surely, purely selfishly. I'm like, well, dang, if I didn't have a girlfriend, I'd go roll over there. Right now. But I have a girlfriend, so I'll leave that like that.
Hey.
I think that's a bit excessive. How long have they been dating again?
Not even
not a long
year.
time, not even,
Year and a
because
half.
we found out there was a picture that she posted on social media, and she was showing her ring is bigger than her hand,
Yeah.
and she was
It
saying
looks like a cheeseburger.
Did
on
he
her
buy
knuckle.
the ring or did she buy the ring?
I don't
He
know.
proposed. He proposed to her on stage
Okay,
at a show
right.
to will you marry me? And she said yes.
But
they
did he
hadn't
pay
even
for
really
the
known
ring?
each. I'm guessing. He
Yeah,
did.
nobody knows that.
Right, right.
Yeah, we got to.
Yeah.
So I say the
He
roles
bragged.
of
He bragged. He bragged. Just so you know, the little backstory. He brags kind of like on social media
Uh-huh.
that he has over $1 million in jewelry.
in
So-
jewelry.
In jewelry, he's a young
Wow.
guy.
He needs
Not
my
even
services.
25.
Yeah,
Never,
yeah,
uh-huh.
he
So
does.
we're gonna slide into the,
Yeah.
in the DMs on that. You need some financial
$500,000
services.
ring with no life insurance. What were you
Right.
saying?
That's
That's what-
exactly what I was gonna say.
Don't get me started. I'm trying to fall
That's my
back.
niche right there.
So me personally, I can't see myself even today buying any man a car for $300,000. Really?
Do you want to hear what I have to say about
I
this?
do.
Yes,
I
I'd like
do.
to hear myself.
Okay. First of all, it's the hip hop thing to do.
Okay.
It's the so-called, and I got to give you a little backstory so you can really see
Okay.
how kind of stupid this is.
Let's hear it.
She's a new artist.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Not
Mhm.
even one album out yet.
Got it.
Okay. And you're buying somebody a $300
It could
and
be
you only
over
have
next
one
week.
single
Right.
out.
It
Well,
could
she
be
makes
over
money
next week.
moves.
We all know there's artists out there that maybe on their second, third album
Right.
can't afford a $300,000 car.
Right.
Okay. Now let's talk about him. He's in the hottest rap group out right now. They've been out year and a half or whatever. But I guess the ring that he gave to her, I guess he claimed it was like $1 million or whatever, right?
Mhm.
So I think it's one of those, well, he gave me $1
Well,
million
that's true.
ring.
Right.
The least I could do is buy him a $300,000
First of
car.
all-
Now here's the crazy part. You're not even married
Wow.
yet. It's actually, I hate to say it, it's like publicity stunts.
For sure.
I feel like
that
it
gets
is.
Because we're still
everybody
talking
to
about
talk. Like
Right.
you want the world to go, who does that?
Right.
And for the fact that we're even talking about him right now,
Right.
that's what they wanted.
That's true.
Okay. So let's bring it down a notch. I just found out this is kind of like through the grapevine, and then of course I have some personal pictures. Do we all know who Dorian Wilson is?
I do.
The Professor Ogilvy.
Professor Ogilvy
Okay.
on
Shout out to Dorian. We
yeah.
just we
he actually
are-
goes to my gym. I see him a couple days a week.
Oh, right. Okay. So
And
shout out
Monique,
to him.
shout out to Monique.
Right.
Yeah.
Shout out to Dorian. We just recently did a show together
Okay.
called Game On,
Okay.
and it got picked up by a network this month. So I'm
Congratulations.
extremely excited. So there's another job right
Yes,
there. First
yes.
assistant director. Holla at your girl.
Job number 8.
Yeah, 9, 10. Call me Jamaican. Amen. Okay. So we heard through the grapevine that he's dating Angie Stone.
Really?
And that, for me, when I met him, I had my own, thoughts and reservations about
yeah.
the kind of man that he was.
Right.
And then to see a picture of him with his arms wrapped around Angie Stone, like,
Okay.
hey, boo, I was like, oh, okay. So,
You have a
what's that
problem with
about?
it, or
No,
what do you-
it was kind of like, really? Wow.
And why is that?
I don't
Yes.
know, because you know what Angie Stone does is not an extremely public artist in the sense of what
Right.
she's doing.
Right.
And then Dorian Wilson, you only see him on TV. Like
Right.
the first time I saw him in person was when he walked on a set that I was working on.
Right,
So
right,
he's
right.
not somebody you just see in the street like, oh, Cardi
Right,
B over
right,
here
right.
at the, I was like, wow. So for somebody like that to have some news drop about him when you've never really heard,
Uh-huh.
no deets about what's going on with
Right.
this man, for him to, come out kind of low key, and everybody's like, he's dating Angie Stone, is like, what?
Hey, I mean, love is love. You can, of course, nowadays, we all can say what we think who should be with this person and who should be with that person. You don't know. Sometimes it could be, like you said, you would have never thought that.
Right.
Because remember, her baby daddy was D'Angelo. You knew that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Did you know that?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but at that time, neo soul, he was one of the biggest neo soul artists. I think they were both from Virginia or something, and she wrote a lot of his music, and they just came together. They had a baby. Girls back then were like, "Why is D'Angelo with her?" I mean, like,
Love is love.
beauty's in the eye of the beholder. Right?
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
I mean, D'Angelo, to me, I just think he sees more in general. Like, I feel like D'Angelo's eyes are not like regular eyeballs. I feel like he looks at you and he sees like this other thing.
Right.
Like because when he looks at you, it's like you be scared. Like, what do you see that I don't see?
Well,
Like,
it could have been the
oh my
heroin.
God.
So let me ask you. Yeah, because he was strung out on that.
Yeah, he was.
And it was
God
so
bless his
sad
soul.
because he was super talented. I'm good friends with a few people like Raphael Sadiq, and he's a good buddy. He told me, like, literally he had to go to this dude's apartment and pull the needle out his arm
Wow.
to be like, dude, you're killing yourself. Remember when women, well, I don't know, 98, 99, he was ripped to shreds. Girls loved his body. He blew up to like damn near 300 pounds.
Honey,
Drugs
honey,
will do that to you.
when I
You know?
tell
saw that
you,
photo.
I was one of those girls
Mhm.
who was running to the TV on the "How Does It Feel" video, hoping that the screen would go a little bit further so I could see what was going on with
That
this was
was
going on. I
right.
was like, what is going on down
It's one of the dopest songs ever.
there? Okay,
And but why did we get on D'Angelo?
I don't know.
Oh, because Angie Stone was his
Right,
baby mama,
right.
and you said Angie Stone is now with Dorian Wilson. Okay.
right? Maybe allegedly.
Okay.
So we have another like kind of interesting kind of racial topic, I want to show a video clip of Jay-Z's interview with the LA Times. That the whole interview touched my spirit in a whole new way, and I think that I have a new respect. And just like I said, it's a lot of stuff we don't know about artists, and we don't know about rappers and singers, and we just assume that they are just their music, and we listen to it for what we think it is, and we make our reservations and things like that about music. And I really respected him for doing this interview in the way that he did it. So I just want to play a short video clip while we go.